All right, folks, picture this. You're out in the Wild West. You know, the land of cowboys, dusty saloons, and tumbleweeds that have better social lives than you do. Now, who comes to mind? Clint Eastwood? John Wayne? Maybe even the Lone Ranger? Well, forget those legends for a moment, because today, we're diving into a chapter of history that Hollywood has sorely neglected. The fearless, gun-slinging women of the Wild West. And trust me, you won't want to miss this wild ride. Our first heroine is none other than Calamity Jane, the ultimate Wild West wildcard. Calamity Jane was the kind of woman who'd rescue you from danger and then tell you to stop crying about it. She earned her name after saving a wounded captain during a Native American ambush. But don't be fooled. This wasn't a damsel in distress kind of rescue. No, Jane was out there, guns blazing, probably rolling her eyes at the guys for needing her to bail them out. Legend has it that Calamity Jane was as comfortable in a bar fight as most of us are in a coffee shop. Then there's Belle Starr, the bandit queen. Now, Belle wasn't just your average outlaw. She was an outlaw with style. She strutted around in velvet dresses and carried a revolver, like it was the latest fashion accessory. And get this, she was so notorious for stealing horses that ranchers probably locked up their livestock tighter than their teenage daughters. Belle was known for her organized crime dealings and her crack shooting, proving that she was equal parts glam and grit. Next up, we have the unsung hero of American exploration, Sacagawea. You've heard of Lewis and Clark, right? Well, let's be real. Without Sacagawea, those two would have been wandering around the West, like clueless tourists asking for directions. She navigated dangerous terrains, managed to keep peace with various tribes, and even carried her baby on her back. So if you ever feel proud of yourself for carrying your groceries in one trip, just remember, Sacagawea carried an entire expedition on her shoulders, literally. Pearl Hart, often remembered as a daring outlaw, took on one of the last stagecoach robberies in the U.S. And yes, she did it dressed as a man because, hey, if you're going to rob a stagecoach, might as well do it in disguise, right? Pearl's criminal career didn't last long, but she left a mark in the history books as a fearless, determined outlaw. And of course, we can't forget Annie Oakley, the sharpshooter who could outgun any cowboy in sight. Annie didn't just break gender norms, she obliterated them with a well-aimed bullet. Performing for Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, she once shot the ash off a cigarette held in her husband's mouth. Oakley proved that being a lady and a lethal shot could go hand in hand, and she became a role model for women who wanted to aim higher, literally. So there you have it, folks. Women of the Wild West, who could outshoot, outsmart, and out-tough anyone who crossed their paths. Next time you think about the Wild West, remember the women who made history, and maybe, just maybe, consider how you'd stack up next to them. Spoiler alert, you probably wouldn't.